Hey, it's Hunt. You found Hunt on Saints. We're talking black and gold football. Do us a favor. Hit the like button, share your comments below, and hit that subscription button so you can get all of our content. Enjoy. All right, let's talk some Saints. As you're all very well aware, there's been some reporting in the last 24 hours that Devante Adams is looking to get out, and the two places he would like to go would be the New York Jets, where Aaron Rodgers, his former quarterback, plays, and the New Orleans Saints, where Derek Carr, his former quarterback in two different stops at Fresno State and Las Vegas, plays quarterback. And so the question is, does this make any sense for New Orleans to go get Devante Adams? Well, let's look at Devante Adams right now. He's 32 years old. He has been an elite-level receiver in the league for 11 seasons. I'm talking about a guy that went over 1,000 yards in 2018, 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023. He led the NFL in touchdowns in 2020 with 18. He led the NFL in touchdowns again in 2022 with Derek Carr with 14 for the Raiders as a 30-year-old. The last year he played in every game. The year before that he played in every game. The year before that he played in every game. He's been very durable. He's been very productive. He was a first-team All-Pro in 2020, 2021, and 2022. Wasn't last year, but he's still a really, really good player. And the New Orleans Saints are not very good at wide receiver, and they're certainly not deep at wide receiver. Chris Olave is a nice number one option. I think he is a number one option. Is he a dominant player in the NFL? I wouldn't go that far. Rashid Shaheed does some things really, really well, namely run fast. But is he the best number two in football? I don't think so. And then beyond that, it's a bucket of yuck. So you could make room for Devante Adams on this team, sure, in terms of catching footballs. I'm sure he and Derek Carr could hit it off pretty quickly, and you'd be more productive in the passing game with Devante Adams as opposed to Cedric Wilson, as opposed to Bub Means, who was out there, as opposed to Mason Tipton. Yeah, you'd be better. So should they go make that happen? Well, then you start talking about numbers, and I'm certainly not going to get into dollars and cents to the nickel here, but we'll speak in generalities. Devante Adams this year has a base salary of almost $17 million. Now, he's played 4 games, so you would prorate that, and you're looking at about $13 million and change remaining on his contract, and the Saints have about $3 million in cap space. So you'd have to get creative there. There are players you can get creative with. Alvin Kamara is one of them. If you want to restructure his contract, you can clear cap space, and then you would restructure Devante Adams' contract to get things where they need to be under the salary cap. You're looking at a hit north of $20 million on Devante Adams' contract next year, and he's under contract through 2026. So what does this mean in general terms? You would do the same freaking thing you've been doing and doing and doing and doing that we have praised you on this show for not doing since January. Signing old players for lots of money and taking the money and spreading it out over years and ending up with dead money here and guys that aren't on your roster that you're paying for there and expensive players that are past their prime all over the place. And the Saints have to stop doing that. It's enticing to bring in the name Devante Adams. But to do that, one of the likely paths is paying exorbitant amounts of money for 30-plus-year-old Devante Adams and Alvin Kamara past their prime. And I'm not talking about today. I'm talking about the life of the contract where the money sits. And that's got to stop. And you don't immediately the Saints changed course this offseason. They stuck to one-year deals. They didn't massively restructure things. They didn't take on a ton of debt and look to kick cans down roads. They did not do that this offseason. And just because you dusted the Cowboys doesn't mean you uproot everything and panic and go all in this way. No, you don't do it. It would be super fun to watch the Sports Center crawl go across and go, the Saints have agreed to terms with the Raiders for Devante Adams. And it would be really fun when he showed up in New Orleans for that first game in the black and gold, and he would catch a touchdown. It would be incredible. Oh, this is so much fun. And then you realize The other part of that scroll across the ticker said that you gave up a second-round pick and that you're restructuring Alvin Kamara's contract and you're restructuring Devante Adams' contract and you're paying 33-year-olds exorbitant amounts of money and they may or may not be on the team and it might be dead money or it might just be past their prime money, and you're back in the same situation you're always in. I think it would be an advantage to the New Orleans Saints in terms of roster construction to get closer to the middle of the league in terms of cap space instead of being freaking last or second to last or third to last at all times. I want you to spend the money on the salary cap, but I want you to have some flexibility to go help your roster out. And that doesn't happen because you take a bunch of your salary cap money and dump it into 32-year-olds instead of using your draft picks to get cheap players that can help you for multiple years and don't crush you when it comes to cap season. I know it'd be fun to see Devante Adams in black and gold because he's been one of the best receivers in football for a decade. But that's the point. He's been playing football in the NFL for a decade. And the thing that I always talk about when we discuss free agent and trade acquisitions in pro sports is the best way to do this is to pay guys for what they're currently doing, not for what they once did. How many times over the last 2 weeks have I sung the praises of Alvin Kamara? Twice a week. I am so impressed with his professionalism and toughness. I'm so impressed with what he's been able to do all banged up in this offense to be the heart and soul of what they're doing right now. That doesn't mean I need him doing it 2 years from now. And it doesn't mean that because 4 years ago he was one of the best running backs in the league and right now he's toughing it out through broken ribs and almost beating the Falcons that I need to be paying him 2 years from now. Those first 2 weeks were really fun, and I was certainly singing a different tune after week 2 than I was before week 1, and honestly than I am right now. If you were 4-0 and you had beaten all 4 of these teams 48-17, and it looked exactly like it did week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and you did the same thing to Atlanta and to Philly and to Dallas that you did to Carolina, I might change my tune. The fact of the matter is you didn't, and you've lost 2 games, and your offensive line's banged up, and I'm just not willing to go nuts here based on 2 weeks of football. Again, I'm not completely changing my narrative from the beginning of the season. Kind of changed it from 2 weeks ago, but we had different information. This would be a mistake to give away multiple draft picks or to restructure multiple aging contracts for big sums of money in a panic move because you've got some guys hurt. And the Saints have stuck to their guns this offseason, and nothing's happened yet, so I'm not ready to fly off the handle at New Orleans. But I think this would be a bad idea. Just my 2 cents. If you've got yours, we'd love to see him in the Bayou Ford chat. Love to see him also on YouTube there, Hunt on Saints, where all of our Saints content does live. Schefter reporting, Devante Adams kind of looking around earlier today. Antonio Pierce, the Raiders head coach, met with reporters, said Adams is dealing with a hamstring. The rest of the guys are getting ready for their game coming up this weekend. We'll see what happens. He wants out. He wants a trade. He wants to go to his old quarterbacks. Send him to New York. I think that's fine if you're the Saints. Don't give away multiple draft picks. Don't give away your flexibility that you're trying to work towards. You got to get back to a reset here. We'll see if that's what, in fact, they decide to do. Hey, it's on. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.